Teen girl, ballet core, mob wife, office siren. These are all aesthetics that have been recently churned out by the TikTok factory. We're seeing a rise of people adopt every single aesthetic as it comes, not because they resonate with the ideals behind it or the origins, but purely because everyone else is doing this. So where does this leave you in regards to self-identity? Because by the time you've adopted one aesthetic, another one has come along. For today's video, I have a lot of thoughts. If you see me referring back to my notes, it's because I can't keep all this information in my head currently. Welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. That would help me immensely. If there's any issues, please bear with me. I'm trying to find my feet in this YouTube thing. Identity used to emerge from relatively stable environments. Trends have always existed. Before the domination of the internet and social media culture, trends were shaped by music, fashion shows, magazines, celebrities, all options that were not infinite. So trends took months and sometimes years to become part of the mainstream society before they were cemented into a specific era. The internet has taken trends that used to be shaped by deeper cultural or musical movements and then expressed by people because they resonated with one of the two, to now trends and aesthetics becoming a primary means of people forming their identity. So basically it's now backwards. It went from environment shapes the aesthetic to now aesthetic is shaping the environment and the spaces that people go to and also what they wear. For example, baggy jeans. These dominated the 90s and they were popularized because of rappers such as Tupac and Biggie. And it took some time, but they're a staple that we can look back at today and say, oh, baggy jeans are very reminiscent of the 90s. In contrast, in a month, you might have office siren, characterized by pencil skirts and button-up shirts and blazers. And 20 days later, mob wife is in. Fur, long nails, red lipstick, big gaudy gold jewelry. In the early 2000s, beauty trends and also fashion were seasonal, where Vogue and Cosmopolitan would publish their spring makeup or their winter outfits or whatever. But now the trends change almost weekly. You see, for example, in makeup, glazed donut skin or clean girl makeup or cold girl makeup or latte makeup, etc. So nowadays, what's trending at the beginning of the month can be gone and totally forgotten about by the end of the month. And this does irreparable damage, not only to the sense of self, but also to the environment around us. Think about the high turnover that these fast fashion giants need to ensure they consistently have to keep their consumers and their clients hooked and make sure that they're buying the products to fit the aesthetic of the week. This is such a new phenomenon that the term microtrend was coined, and let's see what it means. A short-lived fad, usually an aesthetic accessory or highly specific piece of clothing that quickly gains massive popularity on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels, only to fade out just as fast, typically within months or weeks. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like I haven't been a victim of these trends, but I think self-awareness is the first step to changing. When you go on your For You page and you see everyone is dressing the same, or the algorithm is rewarding people that are buying into this trend, subconsciously you start to play into this aesthetic. It also doesn't help when all the shops around you and all the shops online, all they're selling are clothes and accessories that are fitting into this particular aesthetic. What starts to happen is a lot of people begin to adopt these aesthetics. Because of the lack of development in what you like and how you want to show up for yourself, your identity is now based on what the algorithm rewards. And of course, what your favorite influencers are pushing out. So instead of your aesthetic now being based on things you genuinely like and how you want to be perceived, you're buying into what you believe is socially acceptable and what everybody else is buying into as well. And the increased accessibility, because the options are no longer finite, every refresh, every scroll on your social media is a new concept. And there's a few things that happen. Number one, your perceived sense of identity isn't true. You don't like cottagecore, you don't like balletcore, you don't care for clean girl aesthetic, you don't care for office siren. But because you don't have stability in your sense of self and you're overwhelmed by the large amount of volume that's coming away, you start to see your sense of self as something to continuously update. And this is known as identity fatigue. Now, what starts to happen, there's this mental, psychological toll on you as a person, and you need to constantly alter your appearance to fit what you think is socially acceptable. And this is draining. What happens when there's a disconnect between your real self and the digital self you feel like you have to show up as? And this disconnect is actually very harmful to yourself. Two things can happen. Number one, When you start to suppress who you naturally are, or how you want to dress, or how you want to be perceived, you're subconsciously telling yourself that you aren't good enough. And then creep in feelings of insecurity because who you are is so different to what is deemed socially acceptable. But the issue is these norms are fleeting. What everyone is looking on the internet and saying is so cool, I promise you in 2 weeks, babe, they're not gonna care. So it just goes to show you cannot build your identity on social media. And instead of your personal style now being something that reflects who you are, your aesthetic is now this costume, and when you take it off, what's left? If your sense of identity and if who you show up as is so fickle that every trend can move you, you're also now gonna look to the internet to tell you what to do. Every time something else comes, you're gonna do a whole 180 because you were never sure in yourself. So when the next trend goes, you're also going to need to adopt a new trend. And I think this is why we see so many clones on the internet. For example, I've seen people on TikTok say, what are we wearing this summer? Girls, what shoes are we wearing? What bags are we wearing? Wear what you want. Why do you need permission to wear flip-flops? You no longer know what to wear for summer because Hailey Bieber hasn't worn it. You no longer know what hairstyle to do because Bella Hadid hasn't done it. And this constant reliance on strangers on the internet and an algorithm to tell you what to do, I promise you, is contributing to a lack of stability within yourself because you no longer know yourself. I hope that makes sense. And another thing is, this may seem counterintuitive, but the more you try to chase trends, the more overwhelmed by them you will probably be. So Barry Schwartz spoke about the paradox of choice, and it details that endless options don't make us freer, they create anxiety, cognitive overload, and dissatisfaction. When there are so many options and there is a sheer amount of ideas and aesthetics thrown your way, you literally have something known as trend fatigue. Again, this is a new term that psychologists have had to term because of the new internet culture. And I saw this person on Reddit mention this. I think she summed it up absolutely perfectly. I'm gonna paste it here so you can read this. The Concept of the Looking Glass Self by Charles Horton Cooley says, each to each a looking glass reflects the other that doth pass. And this suggests that self-image is developed based on how we think others are going to perceive us and how society will reward us. And social media amplifies this by rewarding certain aesthetics in a certain time frame with likes, follows, comments, brand deals, visibility, etc. One of the reasons why aesthetics are a lot more performative now is people are doing them literally because they're rewarded. And I promise you it all links. And this links into my final idea. Platforms are counting on you to adopt any trend. So the faster a trend cycle occurs, the more content gets produced, and each trend can generate sponsorships, affiliate links, commissions, brand deals. So there's a financial incentive for these companies and a constant manufacturing of the next big thing or the next identity or the next aesthetic. So big fashion or big media or whatever like companies really have a stake in this, they actively help these trends to be pushed out. And in order for them to make money, they are counting on your fickleness. They are counting on your inability to have a stable sense of self. They're counting on you to buy into every aesthetic. And once that aesthetic is done, all the clothes get shipped off to Ghana and the whole cycle happens again. In that time, brands have made money, influencers have made money off commission, off affiliate links. I'm gonna do a whole video into the economics behind this idea that your insecurities are profitable. But this is because this is a lot more sinister than we understand. They're literally using psychology to make sure that you buy into this. So in conclusion, what can we do? How can we combat this? In a world where your identity is increasingly externalized, spend time with yourself. Ask yourself, if social media didn't exist and there were no influencers telling you what to do or what to wear, who would you want to show up as? What would you want to do? Do you want to drink matcha every day? Do you want to go to Pilates? Do you want to do the 17 skincare step routine? Step away from content that encourages overconsumption. Look for creators that encourage slower fashion, and that will permeate into the rest of your life as well, I believe. Also, find your own identity through things that genuinely interest you. And lastly, don't be afraid to be different. Just because what you're wearing isn't deemed as popular or it isn't trending, it doesn't matter. You are a walking advertisement for who you are as a person. And if you look like every other clone on social media, then how are people meant to know the real you? So let's make this year the year where you develop your sense of self more, and also what you like as a person is no longer based on external validation. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.